if you're a high school basketball player that wants to increase your basketball IQ, you have to study how to play in different game situations. So today, I'm going to share what smart players can do in end of game situations where their team is behind and they need to score quickly. Let's jump in and discuss. Welcome back to Heart Smart Together. I'm Coach Dave. I'm here every week to help basketball players become the smart, confident players that coaches love. So during the season, have you found yourself in a situation where it's the end of the game, only maybe a few possessions left, and your team is down and you need to score quickly? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. What smart, high IQ players think about in that type of game situation and how they might approach it and how they might play in that situation. Now, no matter what I say on this video, your job as a high school basketball player, or really any level that you're playing at as a basketball player, is to execute the strategy that your coach sends into the game. So if your coach gives you specific strategy out of a timeout, or you've discussed it, going into games and says, this is how you're to approach these end of game situations, then you're supposed to do what your coach wants you to do, because your coach controls something that I don't control on this video, and that is your playing time. So execute what your coach wants. Now, with that said, if you want to be one of those high IQ smart basketball players, and maybe your coach hasn't discussed this end of game situation, maybe you didn't have a timeout in order to put in some strategy, you need to know what to do. You need to know what the best way to play in that situation is. So that's why we're going to talk about this today. That's why I want you to have this basketball knowledge. But again, do what your coach wants. Now, before I get into this in detail, I want to give you a free gift just for listening in today, just for watching the video or listening to the podcast. If you haven't already downloaded the 8 intangible skills that coaches love to see in players, these championship skills that you can display both on and off the court, then download it today. I put it in a checklist form. I give you some ways to work on each skill. And you can download that by either going to the link in the description below, or you can simply go to hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles, and I'll give you that free checklist. Okay. The first thing that I want you to do as a high IQ basketball player is you need to, and it's now, in the game, things are going fast, right? And you might not have a chance to analyze game situations. That's why we talk about it in practice, here, together, and I want you thinking about these situations so that you're prepared when this situation comes about. But one of the keys is you need to kind of analyze the game situation from the other team's perspective. So today we're talking about an end of the game situation, okay, where your team is down. So in order to know what the best strategy is, you need to kind of think, what would be the end of game situation with the other team up? What would their coach be telling them? What would their strategy be? So that you can take advantage of that strategy that they're implementing, okay? So you can't just think about your side of the game. You got to think about the opposing side of the game as well, okay? So you're down into the game, few possessions left, you need to catch up, okay? Well, what most average basketball players might think is the proper strategy, and a lot of fans think this is the proper strategy, is get up the court and jack up the first 3 available, okay? Well, let's talk about that. You come down, you jack up a three. It's the end of the game. I don't care if you are a great three-point shooter. Let's say that you shoot 40% from three-point range, okay? Into the game, your nerves are up, the game's on the line, that percentage is probably going to slip down a bit, okay? You shoot a three, you miss it. So the odds are you're going to miss it. There's probably a, 60, 70, even 80% chance that that shot's going to come off the rim. The opposing team gets a long rebound. Now you've got a foul, put them on the foul line to stop the clock, but they're just adding to their lead, okay? Most fans would think that's the way. You got to shoot threes. You got to catch up. But now let's think about what the strategy of the opposing team is. In a timeout, or maybe they've covered it before and they're a very disciplined team, their coach is probably saying, don't foul, no fouls. Because the worst thing they could do is put you on the foul line, clock stopped, and giving you a free 2 points, okay? That's not what the other coach is going to want. That's not what the other team's going to want to do. So, the actual best strategy in this situation and the quickest way to score is to get the ball up the court as quickly as possible with either a pass or the dribble and go straight to the basket. Now, they might look like they're going to defend you, but they're probably going to play a bit of Olay defense because their coaches told them not to foul, right? And so you can get to the basket and get a pretty uncontested 2 points with a layup because they're going to get out of your way and they don't want to foul. Now, what's the other scenario if you go to the basket like that? They foul. Well, that's fine with you because you are now at the free throw line getting 2 free shots, free points, while the clock is stopped. And they're playing against the clock. You're playing against the clock as much as the opponent in this situation. In these kind of end-of-game situations, the clock being stopped is your friend. The clock running is their friend. So you either get a quick 2 points with not as heavily contested of a layup as you would get in the normal flow of the game, or you get 2 shots at the free throw line. Now, either way, this gives you the opportunity to set up your defense if you're going to foul, depending on the situation, if you're going to foul, or if you're going to, set up for a good defensive possession because there's enough time on the clock where, the shot clock isn't going to come into play or is going to come into play. They've got to get a shot up and you're going to get another possession as long as you play solid defense. Depends on the time on the clock. Now, I should say, now your coach would be quite upset with you if you went to the bucket and there's only one position. This is your last possession. There's no time left on the clock. You're down by 3 and you go in for an uncontested layup. That doesn't make sense, right? You're down by 3 and this is your last possession opportunity. You need to shoot the 3, okay? I just wanted to give that disclaimer. But in general, when there are a few possessions left and you're trying to play catch up, they're going to be in the don't foul them mode. And you can be in the let's score quickly and either play defense or foul them mode, okay? And if you get in there and they foul you, let me tell you, the opposing coach might call a timeout for you because they want to remind their team, we said no fouls, right? What does that give you? That gives you and your team a chance to put in your strategies for the rest of the game, the strategies that your coach can talk to you and give you the reminders. Because that coach is going to be furious that they fouled, okay? So that is your tip on how to kind of analyze that end-of-game situation, how to play in that end-of-game situation, just the things to think about during your down end-of-game. Get quick 2s, get uncontested 2s, score quickly, and that gives you a chance to play defense whatever that strategy is, and then get the ball back, and gives you a better chance to catch up and win that game. So hopefully this was helpful. If this was helpful, give me a like, give me a comment below. And until next week, remember to play hard, play smart, and play together. See you next week.